Hey everyone, and welcome to the Gym Explainer. This is for all of you out there in the fitness world, gym owners, operators, managers, salespeople, entrepreneurs, and personal trainers. Today we're getting into a fantastic white paper by jthomas that really pulls back the curtain on the hidden struggles of gym managers. Our goal here is to give you some real actionable insights you can use.
And hey, before we really dive in, a quick note for those of you looking to grow. If you're thinking about opening a new gym, acquiring one, or maybe you just need some working capital, we can help with unsecured funding options up to 500 grand. And there are no restrictions on use. You can check that out over at fmconsulting.net. Okay, let's get to it. So when you think about being a gym manager, it sounds pretty cool, right? You're the leader, you're interacting with people, you're in this high-energy environment. From the outside looking in, it really seems like a glamorous job. But what's really going on beneath the surface? There's a whole other side to this job. Managers are dealing with some serious daily challenges that, honestly, almost never get talked about. So what are these hidden struggles? Let's break them down.
First on the list, the pressure. And I mean pressure from every single direction. It's this constant, daily tug of war between two huge priorities, making sales and delivering amazing service.
Here's how it plays out. On one hand, you've got the owner saying, "We need more members, hit those numbers." And on the other hand, you have members who expect and deserve a perfect experience every time they walk in. The manager, they're stuck right in the middle of that squeeze. And the reason this is so often overlooked is that training usually focuses on one or the other, sales or operations. It almost never teaches them how to juggle both at the same time. So, how do you fix it? Well, first you've got to train them for the real job, with dual training in both sales and service. Next, you have to measure what matters. That means tracking member retention just as closely as you track new sales. And finally, you help them manage their time effectively, maybe using something like time blocking, so they can dedicate focus to both growing the business and engaging with the members you already have. All right, let's talk about the next big one. This is what we'll call the daily people problem. And this is a two-parter. It's all about handling the tricky dynamics of both your staff and your members. And on the staff side, wow, this is a tough one. Just look at these numbers. For every 10 people you hire, less than half are still with you a year later. And after 2 years, you're down to just 2. That constant revolving door of hiring, training, and then losing people is an absolutely massive drain on a manager's time, energy, and morale. You see, the solution isn't just about hiring better people. It's about keeping the good ones you have. That means creating real career paths for them, training your managers to see the signs of burnout before it's too late, and just talking to your team. Regular check-ins can make a world of difference. But the staff is only half the equation. The other side of the people problem is, of course, the members. And you know what I'm talking about. Everything from small complaints to major conflicts that can throw off the whole gym's vibe.
And you can't just expect managers to wing it here. You have to give them the right tools for the job. That means training in things like empathy and de-escalation, using role-playing so they're ready for tough conversations, and having crystal clear policies so they know exactly what to do when a situation gets too heated.
This brings us to our third major challenge, and this one's a system issue. We call it fighting fires, not leading. It's that awful feeling of being held to these super high expectations but having very little actual authority to make things happen.
Think about it for a second. Managers are held accountable for the big stuff, revenue, retention, the works. But often, they can't make decisions about the budget or staffing or even pricing. Why? Because too many owners see their managers as just tactical executors, not as true strategic partners. And that's just a recipe for frustration.
So, what's the answer? You guessed it. Empowerment. Actually involve them in the big picture decisions. Invest in their leadership skills so they can think strategically. It all comes down to building a culture based on trust, not just tasks.
And if you need any more proof, look at where a manager's time actually goes. Half of it, 50%, is on admin work. Another 30% is on member issues. You know what's left for actual strategic growth? A tiny, tiny 5% slice. You simply cannot grow a business when your leader only has 5% of their time to think about it.
We have to get them out of the weeds. That means practical training on how to manage their time and delegate. It means investing in automation for things like billing and scheduling. And it means getting those non-essential tasks off their plate so they can focus on what truly moves the needle.
Okay, so we've talked about the pressure cooker of sales versus service, the daily people problems, and the trap of always fighting fires. Now let's tie it all together and talk about the path forward, how we go from just acknowledging these problems to actually taking action.
And you know, there are other struggles too. Things like
trying to keep the gym looking amazing on a shoestring budget. Or that deep feeling of isolation that comes when you're the person everyone comes to with their problems. A lot of these managers don't have mentors or even a network of peers to lean on.
And that really brings us to the single most important takeaway of this whole explainer. If you remember one thing, let it be this quote from Thomas: "The best investment you can make in your gym isn't in new equipment, it's in the development and support of your managers." That's it. That's the whole game.
Because when you have empowered, supported managers, they're the ones who drive retention. They build amazing teams. They create the kind of member experience that leads to long-term, sustainable success. So the real question for every owner out there is, are you ready to make that investment?
If you want some expert help putting these ideas into practice, you should reach out to Jim Thomas directly. You can call him at 214-629-7223 or email him at jthomas@fmconsulting.net.
And finally, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Gym Business Manager. It really is the best software for your gym. You can check them out at gymbusinessmanager.com. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.